Okay, which verse? 7th chapter?
26.
Seventh chapter, 26th verse. Before that, little recap. Krishna says, I don't manifest to everyone, especially to the fools and unintelligent people. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavataha mudo yam nabijanati loko mam ajamavyayam. Because they do not know my position, I do not manifest to them. That means I don't give them any mercy. What is the meaning of manifesting? I don't give them any mercy of knowing me, because they don't know me, and they don't want to know me also. They consider me, and they don't know that I'm unborn, I'm infallible. Then further, 26th verse, 7th chapter, 26th verse.
Okay, can I ask question in relation to that one? So Krishna says he is covered by his internal potency, and we also sometimes say that we are covered by Maya. So is there a double covering if we are not intelligent?
There is two types of covering. One is Yoga Maya, one is Mahamaya. Yoga Maya covers the eyes of Vrajavasis, the devotees, where Krishna wants to relish that sweetness, where mother can take a stick and chastise Krishna. If mother comes to know, oh, my son is God, then she will keep on the table, oh my God, and start worshipping him. OMG, now, oh my God, something is coming. So she will start worshipping. So Krishna intentionally to relish more pastime with his very close associates. When we say devotees, that means those devotees at that level, close associates, where Krishna doesn't want himself to be revealed as God. We are all sadhakas, so we should not come in that line. We are just sadhakas. We should know first Krishna's opulence. So Krishna is not covering our eyes with Yoga Maya. But in fact, Mahamaya tests even the devotees. There is Mahamaya, who sometimes tests even the devotees by giving pride to the devotees. So the devotees think, oh, I am something very great. Without me, nothing will happen. That is Mahamaya's work, where Krishna's supremacy is not understood. And in one place, Krishna doesn't want the devotee to understand his supremacy. Okay. 26th. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Vedaham samatitani. No, aham, I. Samatitani. I know all the past, samatitani. Vartamanani, I know all the present also. Oh Arjuna, I know also the future, bhavishyani, of all the living entities. But mam to vedana kaschana. But no one knows me. I know everything. I know everything that has happened in the past, what is happening now, what is going to happen. I also know all the living entities, but no one knows me. That means to know Krishna, it is until unless he reveals, impossible to know Krishna. Okay. Aditya, you only read first.
Hare Krishna. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Translation. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but no one knows me. But me no one knows. Purport. Here the question of the personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, material, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then like the living entity, he would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human beings, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the fourth chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivaswan, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as a super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as super soul and his presence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as the Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. He is just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is the sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. As it is stated in the third verse of this chapter, out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in this human form of life, and out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Now, who is the doer? We have done this. When it came to third chapter, Prakrute Kriyamanani Gulakarmani Sarvashankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti. Just open Prakrute Kriyamanani. Which verse? Third chapter? Open. Third chapter, 27th verse. Ahankar Vimura Atma Kartaham Iti Manyate. A person thinks, oh, I am the doer. But actually, Prakriti is the doer. In that verse, we had discussed about 3 are doers at the same time, 3 are also not doers. Remember or forgot? Remember. Body is also doer. That means matter is also doer. At the same time, soul is also doer. How soul is a doer? This is the answer. 7th chapter, 27th verse. Should not forget this. How 3 are doers? Matter, yes. Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha. Everything happens because of the gunas. Body is there, that is why you are able to do the work. But then body on the own cannot do any work. Body can do the work only when the soul desires. And that is given in this verse, 7th chapter, 27th verse. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichha dvesha samuttena. What happens at the level of the soul? Ichha is there. Dvesha is also there. Whatever activities we are doing, sometimes there is a hatred, sometimes there is a desire. So sometimes you love to do the work, sometimes you hate to do the work. At the time, your body language differs. Ichha, dvesha, samuttena. Because of that, there is again a birth. Dvandva mohena bharata. One is again put in this dvandva. Dvandva means dualities. Dvandva mohena bharata. This dvandva, ichha, dvesha, this is known as dvandva, dualities. These dualities are actually 2 sides of the same coin. I hate a person. I love a person. One is positive, one is negative. That person is common. One is positive approach, one is negative approach. Kamsa could not forget Krishna even for a fraction of a second. Nanda Baba also could not forget Krishna even for a fraction of a second. There is difference. Cannot forget Krishna is common. But what is the difference? One has a positive attitude, one has a negative attitude. That is why you love a person, you hate a person. Both belong to the same coin. Front back, that much only, upside, up and down. Sarva bhutani sammoham. Because of that, the living entities are put in illusion. Not only illusion, sammoham, sampurna rupena mohena. That is why it is known as delusion. Illusions, father is delusion. You are more in illusion. That is why it is known as delusion. Sarge yanti parantap. This way he takes birth. He takes birth because of the desires which are born. He takes birth because of the desires which are born. So at the level of soul, desire is there. That desire to fulfill, you need an instrument. That is how the body is the doer. And then even if you desire, even if there is an instrument, there should be a sanction also. So 13th chapter, Upadrashtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purusha Para. 13th chapter, open. Where is Upadrashtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara? 22, I think. Yeah. 23rd. 13.23. Anumanta. Anumanta means sanctioner. So 3 are also doers. At the same time, you are also non-doers. God can say what I have to do. Something wrong happens in the office, you see, nobody wants to take the blames. The same way. If something is wrong, everybody raises their hands up. God says, I am not. Soul says, what I have to do? I am completely divine. Matter says, I am completely dead. So when it comes to taking blames, 3 are non-doers. When it comes to taking credit, 3 are doers. Okay? 37th chapter, 27th verse. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti param. That is how the whole creation happens. So, Saurabh Prabhu, please read. After a long time, I'm seeing you in the class. Not
Yes,
well.
Madhya. I'm actually still traveling. I'm in Odisha right now.
Okay.
Sorry. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. O scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from his pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded by desire and hate can understand that Lord Shri Krishna appears by his internal potencies, but those who are deluded by duality and science think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam druda vrataha. Yesham tvantagatam papam. The moment all the sins are eradicated, jananam punya karmanam. Jananam punya karmanam. Those people who acted piously, te dvandva moha nirmukta, they are free from all these dualities. Bhajante mam drulavataha, they are engaged in devotional service. Now, which pious activities has been spoken here? Not the pious activity of this world, because pious or impious, both are going to lead us to this material world only, either upper planetary system or lower planetary system. So-called pious activities is not going to give us any freedom from this material world. Shine, punye, martyalokam, vishanti. After finishing all our pious results, we have to come back. That means pious activities are giving us the chance to go to the upper planetary system. But it is not giving us the freedom from this material world. So which pious activity has been spoken here? The punya karmanam refers to sukruti, knowingly, unknowingly, coming in contact with the things belonging to Krishna. Whatever, knowingly, unknowingly. Like somebody came and gave you Jagannath Prasad. Okay? You did not even honor it. You gave it to your friend. You did not honor. I'm not talking about you honoring very nicely. You disrespected. Still you will get chance. You disrespected a devotee. ये हरे कृष्णा वाले क्या तकलीफ लोग क्या दिमाग खराब लगे. Disrespected. आई जब भी बोलते हैं क्या चैंटिंग करो ये माता जी को काम ही नहीं है. Disrespected. Knowingly, unknowingly came in contact with the things belonging to Krishna. Like you come in contact with medicine. You don't know the results of or the effects of the medicine. But you took it and you cured it. You may like to take it, you may not like to take it. It doesn't matter. Doctor gives you. You don't like, nobody likes medicine. But still, medicines put an effect on you. So, you just said, "Oi, Hare Krishna Varitankar." The word Hare Krishna has so much power, whether you like it or whether you don't like. That is going to give you Sukruti, Punya Karmanam. That is how you gain Sukruti. That is how you eradicate your sins. Just by chanting even one time. Krishna's name is so powerful. Even if you chant one time, your sins will slowly wash away. We don't know how effective is the power of the holy name. That is the power of the holy name. Even if a person has said haram, haram is actually what? A bad language. He said haram. Krishna considers that as Hey Ram. That is the power of the holy name. So, Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. He has gained fortune of accumulating Skruti. Then what happens? Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Dulavataha. Slowly, he will be engaged in devotional service. The Sukruti, because of the Sukruti only, we are all here. And sometimes we have not got any Sukruti than Acharya Kripa. Somebody told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we also did many Sukrutis, or what Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, no, I gave you Kripa. So, it is because of Acharya's Kripa. We may not have that fortune of getting the Sukrutis. But Acharya Kripa, Acharya's mercy, then slowly we become Drida Vrataha. We take up devotional service. Initially in devotional service, we may fluctuate. So many tests will be there. The moment you are in devotional service, like you take the razor to shave, it is not so easy to shave. You have to be very careful or it will cut. In the same way, walking on devotional service is a test. So many tests comes. Maya tests us in different ways. But in all the tests, one should just beg mercy. Mercy from the spiritual master. That is the power of Guru Tattva. Then Drida Vrataha. One becomes fixed up in the devotional service, the woes of devotional service. Vrataha refers to the woes of devotional service. Like we take the vow, oh spiritual master, I will chant minimum 16 rounds. Oh spiritual master, I will see that I have the association of the devotees. So you take vows, oh spiritual master, I will not be taking any, not doing any 4 illicit activities. No intoxication, all those things. So I will not do that. So Drida Vrataha, I'll be fixed up in the vows. Then what happens? He becomes free from the moha. And bhajante is always performing devotional service. Just by performing devotional service very nicely, he becomes fixed up in his vows. You can say other way around also. Just because he's fixed up in the vows, he can perform devotional service also nicely and come out of the dwanda. Why? He has attained Sukruti. Okay. Pushpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandmohanirmukta bhajante mam drida vrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, aesthetic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously, and who have conquered sinful reactions, can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, gradually, they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness, in the association of pure devotees, for in the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 that if one actually wants to be liberated, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat sevam dwaram ahur vimukte, but one who associates with materialistic people is on the path leading to the darkest region of existence. Tamo dwaram yositam sangi sangam. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination. Hare Krishna.
Jara mokshaya mama shityaya tantiye te brahma yad vidhu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakilam. Jara mokshaya mama shityaya tantiye te brahma yad vidhu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakilam. Jara marana mokshaya. Mam ashritya yatanti. So if a person wants liberation, what he should do? He should take ashray of Krishna. Yete brahma tad viduhu krishnam. So they are actually Brahman. Who are actually Brahman? Who are taking shelter of Krishna. They know that they are energy of Krishna. What is the meaning of they are actually Brahman? One who performs devotional service understands his position as servant of Krishna. Right? And who is servant of Krishna? Energy of Krishna. Understanding that everything is energy of Krishna. Jada Brahman, Jiva Brahman, Para Brahman. And then, Te Brahma Tad Vidhu. He only knows what is the meaning of Brahma. Brahma means energy of Lord. Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. So that is why they know what is transcendental or what is transcendence. What is Brahman here refers to? What is transcendence? What is the meaning of beyond three modes of material nature? That only can happen when you keep Krishna in the center and perform all your activities. That is how every activity is spiritualized. Every activity is spiritualized. Sometimes you have to scream and shout. Today I was screaming and shouting. That is why I'm coughing. Because somebody told that, can we not preach without the banner of ISKCON? I said, I'll slap you. So I had to shout at him, scream at him. So, no, you are mother, how can you say? I said, no, mother is we shall forget. Only father is Prabhupada. Without the banner of ISKCON, if you say, I'm going to beat you. So that is also for ISKCON. That is for Srila Prabhupada. That is for Krishna. Because parampara comes from Krishna. You cannot go away from parampara. Without parampara, who is going to ask? We are just stray dogs. Somebody asked, what is this? To my Shiksha Guru. Somebody asked, what is this? My Shiksha Guru asked, when first he came to ISKCON, what are you wearing this? To one brahmachari. First time when he entered ISKCON, he told, this shows that we are not stray dogs. You know, there is a belt which is put for the pet dogs. Then the municipality van doesn't take it. So this is the belt which symbolizes that we are pet dogs of our master. Simple. We are not stray dogs. So without parampara, we are just, who is going to ask us? So whatever you do, if you centralize Krishna, there you are bold in speaking, no problem. That is also Brahman only. That is also spiritual. And if you are kind to someone, that is also spiritual. Everything is spiritual. When Prabhupada called some of the students as rascal, that is also spiritual. Somebody asked Prabhupada, sometimes rascals, sometimes fools. Rascals are those who knowingly do it. Fools are those who are innocent, ignorant. So, Prabhupada, every activity is Brahman. And he is completely liberated. Because what is the real meaning of liberation? Understanding our constitutional position at every step. At every step. So, every activity becomes spiritual because you are performing that activity for your parampara. Guru Shishya parampara comes from Krishna. Sampradaya comes from Krishna. Okay. Gita Mataji, please read. Your voice is not heard, Mataji. Unmute.
जरामरण मोक्षाय मामाश्रित्वा यदन्तिये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदु कृष्णमत्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम्. Intelligent person who are endeavoring for liberation.
1 minute. How did you read the last line? E Brahma Tad Vidhu Krishnam. There only. Krishnam. Krishnam.
Brahma Tadvidu Krishnam
Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. Okay. Read.
Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Purpose. Birth, death, old age, and disease affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So, one who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in eternal devotional service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also in devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about transcendental activities. Four kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals and by the grace of the Supreme Lord. When they are fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized persons cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna known as Goloka Vrindavana. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mam Ashritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgivings about Krishna and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form or arca of the Lord or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage also know by the grace of the Lord the purpose of the Brahman. Adibhuta, etc. Adibhuta, etc. as explained by the Lord in the next chapter. Hare Krishna.
Next. Last verse. Sadhibhutadidevam mam sadhiyakyam cha ye viduhu prayanakale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Sadhibhutadidevam mam sadhiyakyam cha ye vidur prayanakale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Sa adibhuta. Adibhuta means governing principle of the material manifestation. Adibhuta, the gross material manifestations. Adidaivam, about the demigods. Mam, me. Sa Adiyakyam, the governing all the sacrifices. Cha, also. Ye, those. Viduhu, no. If they know all this, that means if they know me, Krishna says, if they are fully conscious of me, they know me, they know Lord to be the governing principle of the material manifestation, of the demigods, and of all the methods of sacrifices, then what happens? Prayana Kale, at the time of death, even at the time of death, Yukta Chetasaha, their mind is engaged in me. So here it is said, one who is fully conscious about me. Even at the time of death also, he will be conscious of me. He will know that the whole material manifestation belongs to me. I am the governing principle. He knows that this demigod, the source of demigod is Krishna. He knows that the ultimate beneficiary for all the sacrifices is Krishna. And that is how even at the time of death, I am not lost for him. Because wherever he sees me. That is how Akshara Brahma Yoga starts next chapter. Where Arjuna is going to ask, what is Brahman? What is self? So many questions will be asked now. What is Adi Devam? What is Karma? What is Adi Bhutam? Please explain everything. So here Krishna says, if he understands that I am the governing principle, I am the Adi Bhutam, I am the Adi Devam. Adi means what? I am the Adi. I am the source. Adi Bhutam. I am the source of even the material manifestation. I am the source of the demigods. Adi Yagyam. I am the beneficiary, ultimate beneficiary of all the sacrifices. If he knows this, he knows everything. He's always connected to me. There is a verse in Bhagavatam that says, Thavara Jangama Dekhi na Dekhe Taramurti Sarvatra Hoye Nija Ishta Deva Spurti. Wherever I see, I am not seeing that as Thavara, fixed. I am not seeing that as movable. I am seeing my Ishtadeva in it. So when I see Ishtadeva in it, that means if I see Krishna in everything, then I don't develop hatred towards anyone. And so there is nothing like dualities. I hate a person, I love a person, this is my friend, this is friendship day, this is enemy day, this is friendship, enemy day. Friendship day, then enemy day also should be there or not? Dualities, no? So what we'll do that time? Will you tie chappals on his head? Here, band your time. This also will start when you identify dualities like this friendship day, and something will come up like this also enemy day. So anyhow, one has to come out of these dualities, then he has to see Krishna in everything. If he starts seeing Krishna in everything, he loves everyone. He's concerned about everyone. Spiritual master is concerned about each and everyone. That is why spiritual master sometimes chastises. And that chastisement is for our good. The more we allow our spiritual master to chastise us, understand, we can take that pride that my spiritual master considers me his own. That is how the spiritual master doesn't hate anyone. He tries to think of the benefit of everyone. That is how our parampara is. And the parampara teaches. Now question will be asked, what is this Adi Bhutam? What is this Adi Devam? What is this Adi Yagyam? Who am I? And all these questions, again, Arjuna is going to ask. Okay, that is how the 8th chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga, will start. Okay. Ashish Upadhyay, Prabhu, please read. Sometimes you are seen, sometimes you are not seen. Yeah, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, Sadi Bhutadi Devam Mam Sadi Yagnam Chaye Vidu Prayana Kale Tishamam Sevidur Yukta Chetasa. Translation: those in the full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Purpose. Person acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the time of death, such Krishna consciousness person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. The 7th chapter particularly explains how one can become fully Krishna conscious person. The beginning of the Krishna consciousness is the association of persons who are Krishna conscious. Such association is the spiritual and puts one directly in the touch with the Supreme Lord, and by His grace, one can understand Krishna to be the personality of Godhead. At the same time, one can really understand the constitutional position of the living entity, and how the living entity forgets the Krishna and becomes entangled in material activities. By gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, he has become conditioned by the law of material nature. We can also understand that his human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness, and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this chapter. The main in distress is the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, the knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from birth, death, and disease, and worship of the Supreme Lord. However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care of the different processes. He simply directly engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby actually attain his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional services. He is convinced that by his doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Blood Vrata and is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. The seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that connection. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the seventh chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of knowledge of the Absolute.
Okay. We'll stop here. We'll start this next week. Till the time, just see first verse of the 8th chapter, first verse, second verse, and see the questions. Just see for your knowledge. Compare it to the 29th verse and 30th verse of 7th chapter. Krishna says, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shitetantiya Te Brahma Tad Vidum Krishnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. 3 questions are asked from here last time. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatmam? I want to know about me. What is that is about the soul? What is the karma? I want to know about it. Then I want to know Adi Bhutam. I want to know Adi Yakyam, Adi Daivam. 6 questions. If you see here also, the same thing. Then what happens at the time of death? Okay. Just go through. So when we'll take that, it will become more easy. 29, 30th is the those 2 verses are the cause for the question of first and second. Questions which Arjuna asked in the 8th chapter. Okay, any questions based on this? You can ask. So all of you have submitted your open book. Those who have not done, please do it fast. Don't drag it. Because the second unit will start 1, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So
Mataji,
8th.
Hare Krishna, can you please repeat? Actually, couldn't hear.
What?
You said the first verse, second verse, and
The
third
first
verse.
or second verse of 8th chapter, the basis is 29th and 30th verse of 7th chapter. Go through all that 4 now. 29th, 30th, read and see the questions just been asked in the first and second chapter of 8th chapter. So when I'll teach, it will become more easy. Okay. And submit your
Mataji.
open book. Don't drag
Thank
it
you.
because 7th is over practically, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. 5 chapters. So in 2-3 months will be over. Again, your second unit will come. We are not hurrying about, I'm intentionally not hurrying about with the verses. These are all the bases. If I want to hurry, I can finish it off fast. You want me to hurry? The pace is okay?
No, Mataji, pace is fine. No hurry.
Okay.
Mataji, one small question. So, when we mentioned about taking blames, the soul, super soul, and Prakriti, they are not taking it. So, soul says I am divine, matter says I'm dead, and what would be the reason for super soul denying that
He
blame?
also divine now what he has to do.
Okay.
Whether you ate laddus or some poison, what he has to do. Whether you're drinking cigar or what he has to do.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Vaishnav की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत की जय।